Wonderland. How do you get to Wonderland? How do you get to Wonderland?
Through the mirror, right?
Over the hills or under land or just behind a tree.
Oh. Well, fuck me then.
I know. Welcome to Simple and Clean, a Kingdom Hearts podcast. I'm Mayanna, Berrin.
And I'm Mischa, Stanton.
And today we're talking about Wonderland because we are at a critical point in the podcast.
Yeah.
We are at a crossroads.
Much like in the game. We could go left into horrible darkness.
Or right into scary sunlight.
Yeah.
Yeah, both are terrifying. But yeah, we're kind of like, as we've finished up, or we're about to finish up our recap of Kingdom Hearts 2, and David is going to finish his playthrough, we kind of need to clean house on some worlds that will not carry with us in certain ways. But what I did, so I was like, oh, Wonderland, that one only shows up once. Just kidding. Where do you think Wonderland shows up?
Well, Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yep.
And Chain of Memories, because that's basically Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yep.
358?
Yep.
Okay.
Here we go. It's Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories.
Yeah.
358.
Yeah.
Coded and X and Union Cross and Dark Road.
Oh, right.
They just show up.
They visited in
Yes.
We'll get there when we get there, but basically it's another way that they're just like, and remember all these other worlds you've already played? They're back again.
Exactly. Remember from the past?
Yeah, well, in this one, they're the future.
I know. Ooh. Yeah, so how do you feel about, so you've played Chain of Memories. You've played Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yeah.
How do you feel about, did you play Coded? We can't play Coded.
No, I haven't played Coded.
Yeah, we can't play Coded.
We're going to have to watch the movie.
We're going to have to watch the movie, which will be fun.
I'm trying to get my hands on the melon mix, which we've talked about on the podcast before.
For those maybe joining us for the first time, what is the melon mix?
The melon mix is an adaptation of 358 by 2 Days and Coded, which were DS games, so they're 2-screen games.
Yes.
This is an adaptation down to one screen, incorporating the HD cutscenes that they made for the movie and turning it into like a PC gamer experience.
It's very impressive. I love the modding land.
Me too.
There was a project I was following on X.
X the everything app.
Yeah, wow. And someone was trying to recreate Roxas, like playable Roxas via 358 in the Kingdom Hearts 3 engine.
Yeah.
And that was really cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of different like KH3 mods where you can play as different people with different people. Yeah. It seems very, very cool. And if I didn't only own Max exclusively, I would already be doing it.
Yep. I think you deserve a PC at this point.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Donate to the Patreon,
please. But yeah, so what do you think of Wonderland in the ways you have experienced it?
Okay, so I love Alice in Wonderland the movie. I was a big fan of the book as a child.
Okay.
I was in multiple stage productions and adaptations of it.
Okay.
You might be unsurprised to learn that 2 out of the 3 times I performed in stage adaptations of Alice in Wonderland, I played the White Rabbit.
Oh my God.
It happened more than once.
That's crazy. I was going to guess Mad Hatter or the Caterpillar.
Ooh, I would have loved to be
the
Caterpillar.
You would have crushed
honestly.
as the Caterpillar.
It might hurt my lungs. Who are you? It hurts your lungs after a while. You know what I mean?
It's intense, yeah. Well, the White Rabbit's fun, and I mean, kind of iconic.
Yeah.
Kind of like the start of all the silliness.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I have a great fondness for Alice in Wonderland. Can I say this on the podcast? Is this like a podcast for adults? What do we think?
I mean, I think we've passed that point at this point.
The 2010 Tim Burton Alice in Wonderland, which sort of kicked off this whole live-action remake craze.
It really did.
That was the first movie I ever saw in theaters, really stoned.
Oh, yeah, that would do it. Yeah.
It's a good one.
I want to talk about all of that as well in this, because I mean, one of the things that I think is fun about these world episodes is it's our place to get to talk about Disney stuff.
Yes.
And while I don't have like a bunch of fun like factoids necessarily, I do have a lot of opinions, I guess, about like why the fuck is Alice in Wonderland still this cultural juggernaut?
Yes. Well, and it falls into that weird space. There's like a bunch of novels that have still carried through to now. Tarzan Tarzan is
Tarzan.
also in there.
Peter
I feel like
Pan.
yes, exactly. I feel like others of that ilk are like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yes.
I don't know, Jack London stuff.
Yeah,
or
books where the drawings are wood etchings that they printed on paper and have a very specific texture.
Treasure Island also.
Treasure Island.
There's
Christmas Carol?
Yeah, Christmas Carol I would consider in that mix. But like as opposed to other Disney movies which were adapted from older fairy tales, like Snow White and Cinderella, and like all of those are from, like the Brothers Grimm and older things.
Yeah.
But there is also a class of Disney adaptations of these kind of late 19th century novels that for some reason, they just persist in the culture, when I'm sure there must be so many novels from that time that didn't make it.
I think so, too. And I think that it's interesting. So while I was doing my research, it was wild that Alice in Wonderland, or it's like Alice's Adventures in Wonderland is the book.
And its sequel, Through the Looking Glass.
Through the Looking Glass, which is the follow-up by Lewis Carroll. What's interesting was when Lewis Carroll was writing it, that was at a turn in trends for books for children, where it's like, did you know that books for children could delight and entertain?
As opposed to what? Just like being
educational?
Yeah, being school textbooks?
Or like moralistic, or
sure.
like books with a lesson.
Right.
That they could just be like YA, that they could just be a vibe, an adventure.
Did you know that children could do things?
Did you know that children could have opinions about books they read?
Could have internality and perhaps even some slight agency.
Actually, at that time, that was new.
Yeah.
That was kind of like a crazy thing to think that like children don't have opinions.
Right.
They work in the factory.
Children are to be raised and to be silent and not to be seen or heard.
All right, I want to talk about Alice in Wonderland broadly for a second.
Okay.
Yeah, I similarly read the book in high school. I did a book report on it. I liked the movie. I was obsessed with the live action. And the fact that movie, it was one of the first 10 movies to make $1 billion.
Yes. That's true. I forget that sometimes. We're so used to movies making billions of dollars now.
Yes, that was one of the first. It's like Avatar, Alice in Wonderland, and there were a couple other like big blockbusters that sort of paved the way for
And they
that.
were all kind of like around the same time too.
It was like this critical mass for certain types of movies, usually big visual spectacle movies. And not to say that visual spectacle movies aren't fun and cool, but I think we've maybe gone too far. I'll say it.
I disagree.
Oh.
Hot take.
Oh.
I disagree.
Hot takes on the Wonderland. I was not expecting this episode to feature so many boiling hot takes.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go.
People are not done with the visual spectacle.
No, people aren't.
What people are done with is empty visual spectacle.
Oh, you know what?
Because
yes, so true.
Movies like Everything Everywhere All at Once.
You're right.
Where it's a feast for the eyes and a CG marvel and like really directed to hell, but also has heart and character and story that matters to people.
But that's also an original IP as well. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I think that the corner of the market where visual spectacle and or empty visual spectacle really takes over is IP stuff, like comic book movies.
Yeah, or unless you're going to do something with
right,
it.
Exactly.
Unless you're going to give it, if you're going to inject originality into the IP,
yes,
then it shines through regardless, because it turns out the originality was what we were looking for the whole time.
And so to that point, I think that the Alice in Wonderland live action movie is quite original.
Yeah,
I think
they go crazy with it.
They go crazy. And also, it's a direct sequel to the 2D animated movie from the 50s.
Yes, okay.
Alice came back and remembers something happened. Yeah.
Yes, so that's not the only time that plot has come up.
Oh.
Did you ever play the video game American McGee's Alice?
I did.
That's another game that also uses as its premise, it's a sequel to the Alice in Wonderland movie.
Yes.
And she's coming back for a specific reason in her like near adulthood.
And that American McGee's Alice, which is an incredible game, and then Alice Madness Returns, a game that we never thought we'd see and then did.
Yeah.
Very challenging.
Yes.
not unlike, it's got platforming, it's got combat, it's got some puzzle stuff. It's not unlike Kingdom Hearts. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's another in that era of video gaming of like the 3D character platformer.
Yes, exactly. And again, like a feast for the eyes,
yes.
very dark.
Yeah, so the premise there is that like Wonderland is in her mind,
yes.
and in the intervening time, she experienced a severe trauma
of
and
like
now,
a fire. Like,
yeah, I
right?
think her parents
died in a fire.
And so like the Cheshire Cat comes and says like, hey, because your mind is all messed up, Wonderland is messed up, you have to fix it.
Yeah, and like Cheshire Cat's all emaciated. Yeah, everything's disgusting.
It's very Hot Topic coded.
It's very Hot Topic coded, and it was right at that period.
Yeah.
And Hot Topic has a lot to answer for with the Wonderlandification of the youths.
Yeah, so like, but the fact that like that Alice twist got also used in the Disney version that made it popular again.
Yes.
And also it was of the like dark, Victorian Gothic aesthetic.
Yes.
The like Black Lolita stuff.
Yes.
Of that also became popular with the Kingdom Hearts crowd because they were both shopping at Hot Topic.
And then Hot Topic did a huge Alice in Wonderland live action release thing with clothes and makeup.
I'm saying, so like, there is like the red string is red stringing across the board.
It's just a straight line. But but why? But why? Like, what is it about Alice in Wonderland that we can't stop tapping the well? What do you think it is?
I think what it is, and I think this goes back to the nature of the original book, that Alice as a character, she's forced into weird situations she doesn't understand.
With rules that don't make
sense to her.
Yeah.
But she protests the whole time.
Yeah, you're right.
She's like, how do you not see this doesn't make sense? And everyone around her says, we know it doesn't make sense. That's just how things are.
Yeah.
And she's there saying, but it doesn't make sense. We should stop doing it this way.
Yeah.
Which is like the seed of counterculture in a young child's mind.
Oh my God, that's so true. That's so true. And you know what I was also thinking about while you're talking? That sounds a lot like Roxas.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Which is such a shame because they only have the one DS game together.
I know.
And I didn't even play it.
No. And like, I think that you're right. Alice in Wonderland is one of the stories, like of all the stories that these movies cover and these worlds cover, Alice is the closest to, child age, and has, even in the world, in the Disney movie, in the 1951 Disney movie, at the beginning, she doesn't want to do homework. She wants to make flower crowns with her cat. I understand. I have cats, and I would love to sit in a field of flowers and make flower crowns for them and do nothing else.
Yeah.
But she still has sense. And like, while she hasn't conformed, or presumably will not conform to the rules of the society she comes from, she can look at a society in a much worse off position and objectively understand that it's wrong.
Well, that's what she carries into Wonderland with her, right? She's like, why do I have to do homework? Why do I have to do these things? And her teacher is just like, that's just what you have to do. You're a child and children do homework.
Yeah.
But that's not explaining why you have to do homework.
No.
That's just telling a girl you have to do it.
Yes.
And so but it's the same mode that she carries. Like, why do I have to follow these signs? Why do I have to go this way?
Yes.
And everyone's just like, that's just how it is here.
Yeah.
Like, it's the whole point of the story is showing how those two things are exactly the same.
Yeah.
So I wish that more of that had made it into Kingdom Hearts, I guess.
Me too. I think when I was gearing up to do this one, I was like, okay, how am I going to find the connective tissue? But like, even this is interesting because, yes, children for a long time were considered this secondary class that didn't have a voice, didn't really have autonomy. And that is how children are treated in the realm of Kingdom Hearts and just in the world in general. Like, we kind of have to consistently reignite conversations, even in the real world, about like, kids have rights and kids can't just be raised and treated however you feel just because you're their parent.
Yes,
yeah.
I feel that strongly. I have for a long time been a huge proponent of lowering the voting age because who's going to vote for children's issues more than children will?
Oh.
There's some controversy on that, but I really do think that, like, or we need to institutionalize in some fashion, like, advocacy for children's rights.
I completely agree.
It's a class of people that, like, sure, when they're 1 year old and they're still growing teeth for the first time,
right.
their teeth are still growing in, you know, like maybe they don't have opinions about climate change.
Like school. Or, yeah,
right.
like,
but like
kids they feel it, they internalize it, they hear the rhetoric.
And children is such a wide range of people that, like, at least some of those people have the ability to engage in the world around them far greater than certainly American society gives them credit for.
I completely agree. The one thing I'll say in a pushback to that, and I can't believe we're talking about this on the Alice in Wonderland episode of our Kingdom Hearts podcast.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Is like, I think one of the things specifically on the conservative side of the argument is that's why they're really, I mean, there's a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons why they really push back against like birth control is because they want more kids, because kids is a clean slate to imprint your beliefs upon. But I also think, yes, there's a certain amount of like indoctrination you can put a kid through, but I think kids do have emotional intelligence and can see hypocrisy.
Yes.
And understand it. And they might not be able to verbalize, hey, I don't agree with the way that you're moving through the world and therefore I reject your ideology. But I think they do feel it.
Yes. And the trouble there is, of course, those feelings are fragile. That feeling of agency, like children's opinions and beliefs can be swayed by outside forces very easily.
Yeah.
And children don't have the language for themselves to say,
I don't buy this.
I don't buy it. I think that's wrong. I don't think you should have done that, especially to adults that they perceive are in positions of authority over them.
100%.
Which is 100% of children in current society. Wow, this is a crazy thing to be talking about on our Kingdom Hearts podcast.
I know, but also I'm gonna reel us back in. But like that is again one of the core themes of Kingdom Hearts.
Yes.
Like at every turn, there are adults that are manipulating or indoctrinating or impressing upon them their belief systems onto these children.
Yeah.
And the children rise up, sometimes for good, sometimes for evil, but the children rise up and fight on behalf of the belief systems that they identify with.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that Alice in Wonderland world in Kingdom Hearts doesn't necessarily hold up to all of that thematic density that it could.
That's true. There is honestly a version of Kingdom Hearts out there among the multiverse that could have been made where they really triple down on Wonderland and like put Alice and Sora like next to each other for a longer amount of time and really make those thematic comparisons between the two. We had too much to do. We got to move along.
We got other things. We got Ariel.
Yeah.
And the kids know who that is and they care about that instead.
Yeah, Alice in Wonderland, she's from the 60s. Who cares about that?
Who cares about that? But yeah, so tell me about the world as you play through it in the games that you have played through.
Right.
Yeah.
So Alice in Wonderland, the movie, the book, other adaptations, Wonderland is supposed to be this boundless space where you just wander from field to field and dream to dream.
And you wander, and you end up in like a crazy maze garden.
But it's kind of endless and boundless, and it feels like a really large world.
She gets lost. She's trying to get out.
Right. So it's weird that all of the parts of Kingdom Hearts of it are boxes.
It's boxes.
Why is it like that?
I think, we've had some conversations about this, and I think other worlds do a better job at hiding the seams.
Yeah.
But I think because of the nature of Wonderland as a movie, when you go into Kingdom Hearts Wonderland world in the first game, which is where everyone will see it probably, it's box worlds with painted backgrounds and some stuff like set dressing in the middle of it. And I think on one hand, I understand the we've got to limit the scope of this, but in Tarzan, there is like matte paintings of the sky and like a tree line. In Hercules, there are walls to the Colosseum, but they are walls.
Yeah.
And in here, it feels like a set.
Yes,
but
it does.
Think that I feel like Wonderland, the movie also feels like a set. There's like a point in the movie where Cheshire Cat like pulls on a string and like a door opens up somewhere, like shit like that. Like it's cartoony in like the way that Looney Tunes is cartoony in some ways.
That's true. Yeah. There is a certain amount of like vaudeville and stage that makes its way into that era of animation.
Yes, absolutely. And that was the style of the time.
Yeah, and Alice in Wonderland specifically is playing in that space where to say quote unquote zany, ridiculous things are like the things that are defined by that era as ridiculous are like cartoon mischief.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So I don't know. That's true. That it does feel a little stage-like in its presentation.
Yeah.
It's not the only world that has done that. One of our mutual favorite games, Psychonauts, also has like a stage level.
Yes, it does.
Like, there is a long tradition of equating mischief with stagecraft.
You know, and also one of the themes in the book in Alice's Adventures in Wonderland is the theatricality of the court. Of like trials are bullshit and they're performative and, you know, we're all putting on theater. And they're like the central focus of the Kingdom Hearts world for Wonderland is Alice is on trial and is going to get executed because that's how the queen deals with everything. And Sora has to go and find evidence to stop that from happening. And even then, if you even find all the evidence, Alice is still because it's this theatricality of like I've already decided what I want to happen to this person.
Yeah.
So I could see a world where like that's justification. What probably is the other bigger justification that helped this justification is scope wise. We've got a lot of worlds to cover, and this one is fairly early in the game, where I think they spent a lot of time, and this made sense, was Sora can grow and shrink. In Kingdom Hearts 1, there's drink me bottles, there's flowers or like fruits he can eat. And so there's a lot of playing with scale to help you get through certain parts of the level. And for that reason, I could see why they're like, we don't want to do depth of field.
I suppose.
We got Big Sora in here.
Yeah, that's fair. The box nature of the level does make the parts where you are big feel really closed in.
It does. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I know there's not like Wonderland, and so I forgot. Like, yes, it comes back in Chain of Memories because you're revisiting a lot of the worlds.
Yeah, it's basically if it was in Kingdom Hearts 1, it's in Chain of Memories, and also Twilight Town, I guess,
and also Twilight Town because sequels are coming. Over the weekend, we went to WonderCon and Reed bought an art print of a little pumpkin guy that says "Pumpkin Spice is coming." Pumpkin Spice is coming is how I say it. It's like sequel Kingdom Hearts is coming. When Wonderland shows up in 358, that one's also interesting because that is chronologically the latest appearance.
Right.
Because it's after Kingdom Hearts 1 and Chain of Memories.
Right. You think you spend so long thinking of 358 by 2 days as a prequel that you forget it is after some stuff.
It is after a good chunk of things. Yeah. Yes. But before other things. Ooh. I love that we do our like little dance of intrigue.
Yeah, we turn into ghosts briefly.
Yeah. But yes, Roxas does a couple missions there with Luxord. And
with Luxord, not Marluxia?
No, it's Luxord.
Oh, because the painting the roses and Marluxia's holding his flowers.
It would make sense.
Oh, but Luxord has cards and they have card guys.
And also Marluxia would be dead by then.
Isn't he briefly in the beginning before he goes off to die?
I think he's briefly in the beginning in the throne room before he goes off to die.
Right.
So,
well, Luxord also makes sense because he has cards and Wonderland has card guys. That makes sense.
Card guys, exactly. He's like, this is my kingdom. I know it is fun to kind of think about it in the toy box way of like, what is the place where this action figure would lord dominion over a different toy box world? And so Roxas has like visions of Sora while he's there. At the end, when you're fighting Xion, it's like a crazy 5-phase boss fight.
Right, you like skip across
You
space.
transport to all these different worlds, and Wonderland is prominently featured in there. And Xion's boss form there is like fast, and like you kind of need to like stop it from moving around so fast and stuff. It's neat. And then it also shows up in Coded. There's Data, Alice.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. So I think like Wonderland is, as a Disney movie, extremely popular in Japan.
Yes.
They have a huge like restaurant at Tokyo Disney that's Wonderland themed.
Okay.
It's usually like crazy waits. There's cool like exclusive desserts and like dinner plates and stuff.
Yeah, and I bet they look really funky with cool designs.
They're so cute. And like some of them are seasonal. Yeah, but Wonderland is just one of those ones. In the same way, like some things are very popular in like Japanese media, like Victorian-era stuff, French pastries, and Wonderland. They love that shit. And so I think like aesthetically and just thematically, it makes sense that Wonderland shows up in a lot of places. The thing that I think is weird, and I can't believe it took me this long to figure this out, is Wonderland is one of the few worlds that literally features a character comparable to Sora's age, slightly younger, who gets pulled into a different world than the world they come from and wants to get back home.
Oh.
And they don't cover it at all. It's funny because in Atlantica, Ariel will have these interactions with Sora.
Right.
Where she's like, I wish I could go see other worlds. I know I'll get back there someday. Sora has limited to zero interaction with Alice, just like one or two conversations. And then she gets captured and becomes a Princess of Heart, which we talked about why that doesn't make any sense. Or why it does, but shouldn't.
Right.
But, and it feels like one of those things where we have it here and it's fun, but there's a lot of cool things we could have done with it that we didn't. Yeah.
There's so much left on the table with that one.
Yeah.
You know, what also occurs to me is that, like, because of the world-hopping nature of the story and Sora's whole journey and the way we're presented to this space and the point during the movie at which we're dropped in, Kingdom Hearts presents Wonderland as like just another place.
Yes.
In the movie, it's like a dream and there's a real world she goes back home to.
Yes.
Does that place exist?
England?
In Kingdom Hearts?
Well, because Big Ben is there, so yes. Because Alice is from England and Big Ben is in Peter Pan world. So
different worlds, though.
Different worlds.
Interesting.
But London, canonically.
Right. But also because it's presented that way and that like Sora's the one who's doing Eat Me, Drink Me and Sora's the one running around to all these worlds, but they're equally as fantastical. Like it makes Wonderland feel less weird.
It does. It again, it's just like, here's another place that's neat that I'm here. Yeah.
It's not like in contrast to normality, which is kind of what the story is about.
Yeah, you're right. And I wonder, I mean, if I don't think it will appear, but if it did appear in Kingdom Hearts 4, where it sounds like maybe we're going to play a little bit with this fantasy reality thing, allegedly, I mean, that would have been the place to do it.
That's the thing. Like, if anyone could be said to be through the looking glass at this point, it's Sora in Kingdom Hearts 4.
I know.
You just want to say that.
I know.
Hi, it's Mischa. Thanks so much for listening to Simple and Clean, a Kingdom Hearts podcast. We really appreciate each and every person who's tumbled down the rabbit hole with us. Anyway, seriously, thank you. We are having so much fun revisiting every little bit of this series and talking about things great and small, and we so appreciate that people out there, anyone out there, is listening to us yap so much about it. If that yap is bringing some light to your life and some joy to your heart, please consider supporting us on Patreon, patreon.com/simpleandcleanpod. You can join us at the Final Mix tier for just $5 a month or $50 a year, and you'll never have to hear me ask you for money again because you'll get every episode ad-free. And you'll also get the secret reports where Mayanna and I talk about other stuff. We just queued up our Full Metal Alchemist episode. I think you're really going to like it. We had a lot of fun. Anyway, yeah, Final Mix tier on Patreon gets you both things, so please sign up today. And if you like Simple and Clean and listening to us yap about fandom, and if you're listening to the show, I hope you do, I think you do, I think you should check out another podcast. It's called This Week in Fandom History. It's not news that fan fiction seems to be everywhere. Suddenly, everyone and their mother is talking about fanfic. We're talking about fanfic. Fanfic's all over the place. But a lot of people are getting everything about fandom plain wrong. This Week in Fandom History can fix that for you and turn you into a lore expert for your next party. Hosted by V. Arrow and Emily J., This Week in Fandom History gets deep into the who, what, and why behind fandom culture's highest highs and weirdest lows. Whether you want to learn what shipping is, why everyone is suddenly talking about the Omegaverse, or why Victorian Sherlock Holmes fans wore mourning garb, This Week in Fandom History is for you. For folks who heard us talk to Aisha Farah and mention Homestuck, and Mayanna and I were like, ooh, we know what that is, but you don't know what that is? They have an episode all about Homestuck just waiting for you. V and Emily live on the internet, so you don't have to. The result? The fandom context mainstream media misses. Listen to This Week in Fandom History wherever you're listening to us. And speaking of podcast recommendations, Simple and Clean is a proud part of the Multitude Podcast Collective, a place where a whole bunch of smart and passionate people who want to build welcoming communities yap about their interests to their heart's delight. And there's a brand new show at Multitude. It's called Dreaming Against the Machine. Things are pretty bad out there, but have you ever stopped to ask yourself, what might a good future look like? Dreaming Against the Machine is a podcast about envisioning a realistic and hopeful future. Each week, the show's host, journalist and astrophysicist Dr. Adam Becker, will have an earnest and entertaining conversation conversation with a guest about possible futures, seen through the lens of history, science, and culture. In a world where tech oligarchs and their power fantasies are driving visions of the future, Dreaming Against the Machine aims to take back the terms of the public conversation about what our world can and should be. New episodes every Tuesday, wherever you get your podcasts.
I think the thing that I kept feeling was like, yes, aesthetics. Yes, there's a cool boss fight. Yes, the music's fun. Yes, it's nostalgic.
Yes, weird scale. Yes, topsy-turvy. Yes, things feeling more
Mary
magical.
on birthday.
Yeah, like, you know, like crossing the first threshold. We get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot left on the table of like questioning the system. You know, this is very much coming at it after the fact, 2026 looking back at 2002.
Right.
But Sora wasn't the original wielder that the Keyblade chose. It was supposed to be Riku, and I know he doesn't learn that till the end of the game, but if that was a thing they wanted to seed earlier in the game as a thing that Sora could fight back against to say that, yes, I do deserve it, that's another one of those things. Like, why did it go to Riku? Why don't I deserve one? I haven't, and I'm doing great. And like him bucking against those trends and those systems and those things he's told is exactly in line with the Alice in Wonderland philosophy.
I think if we were to take, and again, it's always so easy to look at a thing once it's done and go, oh, well, these are the themes that are obviously here. There is this through line of like Sora learning what it means to be a hero, Sora learning what it means to be a friend, Sora learning what it is to be a man, like all of these kinds of things that each world in theory is a part of those questions. Or if you were going to do it in the episodic TV way, every world should be the thesis of what is the question we're answering for Sora in this world.
Yes, we talked about that during the animatic episode. That the director was really considering, like, how does the themes told in the Disney world we're visiting today reflect Sora's themes on his journey?
Yes.
I would have loved to see the Alice in Wonderland episode of that TV show because they would have done the thing we're talking about.
I think that's spot on. Yeah. And again, it's so easy to analyze after the fact because it's like,
of course,
what was probably going on was they're like, well, this world's cool and these characters are recognizable and Alice is adorable. She's so adorable in the game. Yeah, like she's so cute.
Yeah, can we talk about that design specifically?
Yes. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yes, I've always wanted to talk about this. This is one of my favorite things to talk about is Alice's 3D design. Yes.
Let's talk about like this specific Disney version of Alice in Wonderland and then how they put her in the game. Yes.
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, like, so we're once again exploring translating a 2D world to 3D. And I think they do a good job, especially because the cards, like the Queen's army of cards, are flat guys. Awesome. And they're doing great. I think they nailed it. The Heartless here, we got the first introduction of some Rhapsody characters, and the main boss, who is this paper cutout jester axe feet tall man.
Oh man, I hate this guy.
I do too, and it's just because you can't really get that verticality yet.
No, yeah, like having played later games, you have so much more maneuverability around bosses. Specifically, this one has so much like, do this, go over here, run across the thing, get up here, and then do it. Yeah. It's like there's so much to just hit the guy.
Just to hit the guy once, and it's really annoying. And I remember when David was playing it and I was watching with the remaster, it's even harder. Yeah. They like tweaked it to make it more challenging, which is interesting. Like, that's fine. But yeah, I think like overall, the White Rabbit looks great. We never see the Mad Hatter, but we see the table.
Yeah.
And yeah,
they skip over a bunch of the movie because the movie's, I mean, like the book, like many adaptations of Alice in Wonderland since, is just a series of vignettes with weird little things happening.
Yeah, when you look up the synopsis, it's like, and she encounters this character and this character and these characters. It is just like a road movie, basically.
It is.
It's funny because the caterpillar shows up in the manga. And I think it's just because they didn't want to do 3D of the caterpillar. They're like, here's a drawing.
That's great. Wait, I'd love to see the drawing of the caterpillar in the Kingdom Hearts manga style.
Screen
that
accurate. It looks identical. Like, one of the things that I think is really impressive in the manga is you have to capture so many different styles. And like the Sora manga, art style, like Sora in the manga, is like that perfect marriage between like Disney look and like anime look. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think like the designs of the characters, to me, I think are fucking spot on. I've always been so intrigued by the exercise it takes in translating these very old 2D movies, because the other thing that was interesting at Disney at that time was they were really playing with style in a lot of those early movies. One of the most, I think, obvious examples of that was Sleeping Beauty, where there's a lot of geometric kind of shape language in Sleeping Beauty, specifically like the backgrounds. One, are super fucking intricate, but like the shape language, it's all very like not Art Deco, but like there's a lot of
there's a lot of like straight lines and sort of like vertical. No, I know what you're talking about.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, so to that point, I feel like Alice in Wonderland has a lot of like roundedness.
It's got a
fluidity.
lot of round shapes. Yes, absolutely.
And I think I wonder if this is true. Maybe you'll have to tell me. But as far as I remember, during the production of Alice in Wonderland, right, they had an Alice actress on a soundstage.
In a lot of the early movies, they had a live actor in a costume on a soundstage that would move around a set, and people would draw
and then they draw it, right?
Yes.
So that's, despite it being 2D, there was a 3D reference available for the translation.
Same thing with Sleeping Beauty. They had a live actress
I didn't
dressed
know
as Aurora.
Oh.
And and the artists would all kind of, in the same way that you have like live model drawing at schools or places, there's some places in LA that do it with cosplayers, which is very cool.
Right.
But yeah, you would bring your easel and your charcoal, and there was a live model, and she'd dance around the set, and you draw it, you know, to get the fabric movement and
Sure. Well, but that's different than like literally tracing the frames of film that they shoot on the soundstage.
Yes. You know, they would stand on the stage with the actress and just draw her as she was moving.
That's
like not
crazy.
even rotoscoping.
That's
just
wild.
Yeah, and like it is wild. Like there's lots of footage of this available specifically for like Alice, Tinkerbell, and Sleeping Beauty, where you see the woman and it's a human woman with human proportions, and then there's a guy drawing like a perfect rendering of Aurora.
Incredible.
I mean, yeah. Well, the other fun fact that I discovered as I was doing little research for this was Alice in Wonderland was gonna be Walt Disney's first movie. He wanted to do that first.
Interesting.
And instead they did Snow White.
Yeah, smart, I think.
I think smart. I think Snow White was already, like, there's a lot of surreal imagery in Snow White as it is.
Yes.
And we will talk about that when we get to her episode.
Cool.
But yeah, I think that, like, getting a more traditional fairy tale out of the way first so that you can have a lot of, like, really lovely imagery but still grounded in one place.
Yes.
Versus we're in two places, and those two places feel very distinctive from each other. But I think it was definitely a moment where the artist could get a little fucking crazy, you know? And the style of the characters inside Wonderland are obviously much more exaggerated than Alice is.
Yes.
Alice is a very, you know, in terms of cartoons, realistically proportioned child.
Yeah, her design certainly doesn't like change and bend and stretch the way that other things in the world around her do.
You know what's interesting too is I was listening to a different podcast where they were talking about the Sex and the City movie, and they were talking about Charlotte, one of the characters in the movie, who has two different weddings. She marries someone and gets divorced and then gets married again.
Okay.
And they talked about the difference in her two wedding dresses. In her first wedding, I guess it's more poofy, and it creates physical separation from the guests. And in her second wedding, which is a much happier affair, she's in a much more form-fitting dress that allows for closeness, allows for physical closeness, both to her husband and to the guests at the wedding. And Alice's dress, notably, is very poofy and creates a lot of visual separation physically between her and other characters.
Yes, that's so true.
Isn't that crazy?
Costume design's so
Costume design
cool.
is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And so I think, like, overall, I would say Alice, especially like Disney 2D 1951 Alice, is one of the most pleasing designs I've ever seen. I think like it's got beautiful color.
Yeah.
I think it's really like, I don't know, there's just like a symmetry to it. There's like a sensibility to it that feels right. And it translates well to like more complexity, less complexity. When you see it in the parks, it's got just like nice colors.
Yes.
Mary Blair, who was also like the color woman at Disney for a long time. She did Cinderella. She did Alice in Wonderland. She did It's a Small World.
Yeah.
just the striking balance of colors that she would use. People were like, nobody lays color like Mary.
No,
and it's true.
That's absolutely true because it became the foundation of everything Disney's done for almost 100 years.
Yep.
So
yeah,
yes, that's absolutely true. Alice's design, it's very similar to Dorothy's design in Wizard of Oz, right?
Absolutely.
It's that blue and white. It just like, it pops next to fair skin and
the yellow of her hair.
Yes.
Like, you've got like 3 core colors, which is like, or I guess 4, white, black, blue, and yellow.
Yep.
And they do a lot with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially because I feel like Wonderland is always, because things are weird and crazy. So it's like a lot of stretchy green stuff and purple. And so like her simple primary colors are just like, and I'm normal.
And this is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, you know, the feeling I walk away with thinking about Wonderland is like, what a fun exercise that we could have seen more from.
Yeah.
And again, when we see it in the mobile games, there is a really fun moment in the mobile games where player interacts with Alice in the house, where she ate the bread and is too big for the house. Mm-hmm. And like, that stuff's really fun. And I'm glad we got it somewhere, but I wish we could have gotten it in a 3D space.
Yeah. So much about Key and Union Cross that like desperately cry out for a 3D remake.
I know.
Like, God, could we just?
I know.
And I know the fandom's with me, so I don't have to.
We don't have to sell anybody on this one.
There's so much like cool video game stuff you can do with Alice in Wonderland as a story, because it's all about surreality.
Yeah, you could do like, even if you look ahead to the live action movie, which came out in like 2010, there's like chess and dragons and sword fights and like things that make sense for Kingdom Hearts to play with.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe, and I've never thought about it till just now, they could put live action Alice in Wonderland and Kingdom Hearts. They did it with Pirates of the Caribbean. They could do it. I don't think they will, but they could.
I've been thinking about this a lot.
Then there'd be
recently.
2 Johnny Depps in Kingdom Hearts.
Can they do that?
I don't think they can.
I've been thinking about how the live action remakes of Disney classics, because 2010 was when they started making them, and there's many now.
So many.
The Moana one's about to come out or just came out, and
no, it's the trailer just came out.
God, it looks bad. Anyway, so like, are they gonna try incorporating this like live action rehash cycle into Kingdom Hearts at all? Is it really gonna reverberate there?
My guess is, aside from the Pirates movies, I don't think they're gonna touch it.
I think that there could be other live action properties that originated in live action that could make their way in there. But
100%.
I don't know if we're gonna swap out, you know, like cartoon classic Alice in Wonderland with the live action version. It's just so different.
It would be so interesting if they did do it, but I think it would feel wrong.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of funny, although the live action remakes are, you know, dominating the box office. They are. Like, there's a reason that they keep getting made, and it's because they make a lot of money.
I think that, we can talk about like how much of a printing money scheme making movies for children is.
Yeah.
But like, you're not wrong.
Yeah, but I think that the difference there is like, part of the appeal, I think, of Kingdom Hearts is nostalgia, childhood nostalgia. And I think that while the live action movies function as nostalgia, I think it's more so that they function as a reintroduction to a new audience of children who don't want to watch the old movie or who don't know the old movie exists. Versus, I think Kingdom Hearts, for the most part, with the properties that they choose to explore, the cartoonness is the nostalgia.
Right.
Yeah, and so I don't think that it substitutes in the same way.
Right. Kingdom Hearts is about remembering how much you love specifically those movies.
Right.
Not just Disney's take on these stories, but specifically the movies that is in the game.
Right, exactly. So it's a minor like substitution or like, but I do think it is clear. I do think there's a reason for it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, in a way, Wonderland has really sprawled out into a wild conversation and a wacky turn of events that I was not anticipating. But in a way, that feels thematic for the world.
I mean, Alice in Wonderland is so infinitely adaptable.
Yes.
Because the whole point of it is to like put issues into absurdist circumstance. And you know what you can always do to any issue, no matter how new it is? You can put it in an absurd scenario and say, look at this.
Isn't it crazy?
Isn't it ridiculous?
That's bananas.
That's our real world.
And it was really set in New York.
Right. Well, so one of the stage adaptations I was in,
oh my God,
was called Alice in America Land,
oh,
which was taking all of the vignettes and putting them into modern political context. And I was doing this as a teenager in, I want to say this was 2008.
And the White Rabbit was like a hipster who worked at like a coffee co-op.
I mean, no, but that's the idea. That kind of stuff.
A photographer.
Yeah. The Walrus was running for office and trying to get all the oysters to vote for it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's the kind of thing we're talking about here.
Incredible.
So it's infinitely adaptable, which makes it great for video games, which is why I think Alice, I mean, it was also part of like that early 2000s, like dark goth edgy
We're going to turn
culture.
a normal thing spooky.
Linkin Park was really in the zeitgeist.
Yes, it really was.
And so like, I think that's the kind of thing you can do with it. I think in Alice Madness Returns, which was made, I want to say like 15 years later or something.
Yes, it was much later. It came out, I think, in like 2017.
Way after we were expecting a sequel to this game.
We never thought we'd see the day.
Right.
And I'm happy we did. I love when a long-awaited sequel comes out.
Right. Well, speaking of long-awaited sequels,
I know.
In Alice Madness Returns, there was an homage to Psychonauts, right? The game we loved. There was like a skeleton of Raz that you could find.
Oh, that's crazy. That makes sense, though.
Psychonauts, another game with like the only limits to what's happening in that game are literally what you can imagine.
What you can think of in your mind.
Everything is surreal. Everything is absurd. And in that way, like Alice becomes infinitely adaptable. So to see that like in Kingdom Hearts, it's just a bunch of boxes and they don't get to talk to really Alice at all.
I know.
Like there's just so much on the table. It like, why were you even going to do Wonderland if that's all you were going to do with it? Why not pick anything else?
I mean, I think it's just because it is so beloved.
Right. But
it's so beloved.
But is it beloved in Kingdom Hearts?
It doesn't feel beloved in Kingdom Hearts. But I will say this. I do remember it.
Sure.
It is one of the worlds where like I remember trying to fight that weird little tower with all the cards attacking me. I remember that was the first moment where I got like really overwhelmed by combat and really felt like, oh man, like threats are real. I remember lovingly being frustrated looking for all the clues, but I remember thinking about where they were and the Cheshire Cat being there and the weird paper cutout heartless boss man.
Right.
I think that like while there is a desire for more, I do think that it's funny when you think about it in comparison to the first time you see Olympus Coliseum, which is literally just 3 rooms.
Right.
Like there is a lot there. There just could have been more.
Yeah.
They even go out of their way to create like the Marianne birthday party, mad tea party area, even though the characters are put on like a piece of wood. Right. There's like drawings of them and it's like the implication is that they're trapped there, but they can't get them out. Like I think you can interact with it in some way. And then, it was that the Heartless showed up and they're hiding or something like that. It's strange.
Well, so like because of its infinite nature, it's like you can constantly be redoing it in different ways. And again, the only limit is your imagination. Like I feel like there's a whole video game, like you could, more so than some of the other movies, like Disney's Alice in Wonderland could be its own game.
Oh, 100%.
You know, and you could stretch that out into a full 20-hour experience.
Absolutely.
You know, in a way where like Atlantica, where I feel like the Kingdom Hearts version of it is more expansive a world to explore and to defeat things in than like the movie really belies.
I completely agree. Now, you know what? I think I feel like we're jangling some keys. We're walking up to a gate and that gate says zoo. And if you ran the zoo, what would you do with Wonderland?
I would make each of those different vignettes into a little space. Like Kingdom Hearts, you really only spend time in the trial vignette, and there's so many other stories in Alice in Wonderland to explore.
Yes.
You know, doing some platforming around the caterpillar space would be fun. Doing a little mini game where you have to gather up all the little oysters and put them to bed before the walrus gets them could be a little cute. Like there's tons of different little mini games, which they're doing for Winnie the Pooh later.
Right.
Where there's other places where they do that kind of world that surprises me that Wonderland wasn't one of them.
That's a really, really great point. I think for me, it's like I go back to the thing of I want every world to have like a little bit of a rhythm game section.
Yeah.
Because like Merry on Birthday, super unutilized.
Oh, like a musical chairs mini game.
Yes.
Could be very fun.
Could have been fun. I think to your point, yeah, like something with the smoke shapes of the caterpillar, either like a boss or like a puzzle. Could have been fun.
A mini boss, which is not a thing Kingdom Hearts really trades in a lot. But
I know.
It could do it more.
We could do it with more. I think like, or, the way that they have the little challenges and again, like these are innovations that came in Kingdom Hearts 2, but like the little challenge sections in like Mulan, you could have these little, like if you're worried about creating a sprawling world, at the very least you could create these little mini game levels within the set pieces you have that do different things.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be the cliched Kingdom Hearts fan that's like, why didn't they pick this world? And why, there's obviously always a reason that certain worlds are included and others are not.
Yeah.
But also like Wonderland left so much potential on the table that like, I really hope they consider its return at some point in this franchise just to do something new with it and go, wow, another thing that Wonderland is.
Agreed. I also think we should have had a Alice crying river section. Maybe platforming, trying to get to her.
When she's giant
and
to
she's
platform
crying
up to her to get the thing to put in her mouth that she needs to shrink little. Yeah. That's a fun little platforming challenge. So many little vignettes, and we only spend time in that one trial one. I don't know.
We had fun, but I think for how sprawling it is, it could have been more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't even get to the psychedelia of it all.
No, we didn't. But I think that for Kingdom Hearts, Wonderland is the least psychedelic thing.
That's right. It makes it feel normal.
It makes it feel normal.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, Tuesday.
Maybe that's another reason it hasn't come back, because the whole wonder value of Wonderland is comparing it to a normal world.
And we don't have one.
No. Kingdom Hearts does not have that.
If anything, Wonderland, it could be the normal world.
Right. It's just a Tuesday.
Just take me back to London.
Yeah.
Just take me to London in a flowery field where I can make flower crowns with my cat. It's like a nice hot day today as well, where it's just like, we
would just love to lay in a field instead of doing these podcasts.
Cats and rabbits could reside in fancy little houses. That's the song she's singing.
That is.
And be dressed in shoes and hats and trousers. Hold on.
Ooh,
trousers. Okay, in a world of my own. There you go. Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I love making this podcast.
Oh, me too. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this wild, sprawling, winding Wonderland ride.
Yeah, I hope it was fun regardless. Yeah. I do genuinely enjoy the opportunity to like dig into the history of these Disney movies.
Oh my God, me
with these
too.
world episodes.
Absolutely.
There's a couple more coming because we have a few more for Kingdom Hearts 1 to sweep out before we blessedly move into other games. And I don't want to sit around waiting to talk about the mobile games to come back around to like, remember this world we didn't cover before? It would be too long. It would be so out of order.
No, and they're there and we do love them and we love Kingdom Hearts 1. Yeah. And I think it's good to talk about these worlds and also move on to other things afterwards.
Excellent.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining me.
My pleasure.
Yeah. Cats and rabbits.
Until you find yourself next falling down a rabbit hole, may your heart be your guiding key. Is that anything?
I think that's exactly right.
Great.